Hello, wonderful world. Okay, so yesterday I wrote a post on my Facebook timeline talking about superpowers and the new ones that I'm seeing emerging through myself and other people that I know. Now, I absolutely believe that everybody has superpowers, and in a lot of cases, they're sitting inside of us, just waiting to be unleashed. So I thought I'd do a video about how you unleash your own superpowers. So let me start by saying that, way back, probably 30 years ago, I remember reading the book, The Celestine Prophecy. And I remember being like in awe that someone could put their hands out and send energy to plants and vegetables and growing things and have them grow stronger and healthier. And now, today, like it's 25, 30 years on from my moment of insight and like being amazed by that possibility. Now I think that we can do even more than that, even greater things than that. That in fact, I think we can elevate, upgrade, up level the whole of the world if we want to, if that's our calling, if that's where our own flow leads us, our own purpose leads us. So anyways, I just wanted to say that because really in the last 25, 30 years, the superpowers are just like roaring on through us. And so I want to talk in this one about how to unleash your own. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that each of us has unique mastery, power, and superpowers, abilities, capacities, miraculousness inside of us that's always been there. And I believe that of every single person, but each person's is so unique that it's just like extraordinary, the capacities that you will find that people have if you give them space to talk about it. Now, a lot of people think that talking about superpowers is like egotistical or big-headed, so they don't tend to tell many people that they can do these things, but they can. And I think it's time to come out and say so. And you don't have to be like super public about it, but I think you want to start to bring what is your natural gifts, present and powerful, into the world today because the world is desperately needing it. So the first thing you want to do is recognize that you have them. You may already know what they are. You may have known them since you were a young child, or you may not know what they are. And they're just kind of bubbling away in there, waiting to burst through. So if you want to unleash what's inside you, here are a couple of suggestions. Now, I say suggestions because I believe that each of us is so unique that we have to follow our own path. So if someone is subscribing, do this, do this, do this, do this to you, you can give it a go, see if it works for you. But also, I don't think we should follow so much prescribed ways. I think we have to open up a flow inside of us that's a natural, instinctive flow that leads us to our unleashing and our gifting of our natural, miraculous capacities to the world, to others, etc. So, even though I'm going to say, try this, try this, try this, I also want you to follow your own natural instinctive flow, because I think in the experientialness of it, the experiencing of it, I think that you will find that you have your own natural way of bringing your gifts, your powers, your superpowers to the world. So, but I'll open the door to ways in which you can do that. So having said all that, okay, so the first thing is that you can't bring superpowers to the fore if you're kind of closed up. So one of the things you want to do is like Take a deep breath, open the core of you. Because I believe those superpowers live in the deep core of us. And the deep core of us is more than just the inside of us, or the solar plexus type gut area. The deep core is like a part of us that leads back to our origins, back to when we were originally created out of, cosmic soup, if you will. And there's a connection back through the deep core of us into all of our learnings, all of our masteries, all of our capacities, our natural instinctive essence of being, in which those superpowers reside. So you want to get that open. Imagine you're on a beach or on a mountain, taking a deep breath, like falling in love with the oceans, the skies, the clouds, the stars, the life, nature, trees, bees, whales, dolphins, whatever lights you up. You want to get into that space in order that your superpowers have a easy access to move forth in the world. And then you want to find something to work on to bring your superpowers to. So I would suggest you pick something that you would love to see elevate in the world, or be miraculousized in the world. Not something you want to fix a problem of, although that may be where you start from, but something that like calls you into it. And you see when I'm saying calls you, it's pulling that flow, those powers out of the deep core to be gifted into something that you want to see made miraculous in the world. And I think that's where superpowers really come into their own, when you let them kind of glide through with a kind of gracious, I almost want to say glee, because it's a very joyful thing to express and experience superpowers within yourself. And so you want to take this thing that you want to miraculousize, or a person or whatever, and you want to kind of place them here or wherever feels right for you. And then you want to bring up your natural instinctive gifts and like let it roll, let it flow. So let's just try that, shall we? So pick something. I'll pick anybody who's watching at whatever time you're watching, whether you're watching now or later. I'll do some of that with you, but you be doing it with whatever yours is. Okay? So here we go. Okay. Now, you may want more time to do that. I did that very quickly. I was supercharging the field of possibility of us all, is how I was doing it. And so it was like supercharging the energetic field in which we live and thrive and be, whatever comes from that. So how did that feel? Did you feel the flow come up from you? Did you feel it start to move in your own way? I know I did it fairly fast. Did you find a smile came on your face? To me, when a smile comes on your face, you know you're really getting the job done. I don't know why that is, but for me, it always works that way. If I'm working hard at it, if I'm having to put effort in it, if there's no flow, I'm out of the game of the superpowers doing their miraculous work. That's for me. You have to find your own way. So that's one of them. Get wild open the core, get into the flow, find something you want to apply your superpowers to, and then let them roll. Okay, so I also want to talk about seeing everything that happens in your life as an opportunity to use your superpowers. Now, I think that we often see things that happen in our life as like the natural response is like, oh, shoot, what is going on? Why is this happening? If we take circumstances, for example. So I think what really helps, if your first instinct is to go, what opportunity to use my superpowers is this opening up for me? And you bring that into play and you begin to do it that way. So you immediately, when you do that, when you start to see everything as an opportunity, instead of it feeling like a crashing, fall into the abyss, or like an angry burst of why me, why this, etc. There's all kinds of reactions, but those are a couple of them. Instead of that, you go, what is this giving me the opportunity to use my superpowers? And then you bring your superpowers into it. And in that approach, you begin to discover that you have brand new ways to deal with things, and that your own unique superpowers kind of roar to the fore. And that raises your vibrational frequency. It raises the bar for how you are working with someone or how you're responding to something. So our natural response is, oh gosh, what's wrong? Why this? What's, et cetera, et cetera. But what if that wasn't our natural response? What if our natural response was, ooh, a chance to use my superpowers. How will I come to this? And so there you go. There's another way of doing it. I also want to talk, just before I wrap this up, about transforming empathy into a generative superpower. Okay, so I was empathic at one point in my life. I wasn't born that way, and a lot of people are. Boy, big kudos to you, because I think the empathic people are doing amazing, amazing work on this planet. But a lot of it is quite disabling for them. It's quite hard on them to do what they do. Big kudos, but I'm a big fan. But I found when I was an empath that it was really hard. So instead, I started to elevate my empathy into a superpower. And how did I do that? Well, in a way, you could say I raised my gaze. So I find that empathy, in my case, maybe it's different for others, but in my case, was more of a kind of here. I was connecting here to here with the problem or the challenges or the lower vibe energy, and kind of getting it in through this area. And then it would be like, whoa, splat. And then I learned to try and elevate it. But if I raised my gaze, if I stopped connecting with how things are feeling right now, at the moment, at the lower level of itself, if I raised my gaze, my connection to the potentiality of the circumstance or the possibility that was waiting, if I did that, then I could be much more naturally and instinctively transformative. And my energetic capacity to work in those instances became joy-filled rather than disabling for me. So it's the difference of looking at something as like, here's where it is, here's where it occurs as a challenge or a problem, here's where its potentiality sits, and here's its possibility. And when you get into that level of gaze and setting the bar and where you're connecting, where you're looking, you get a whole different view of the world and a whole different view of the outcomes that are possible. And then your instinctive natural abilities just kind of pop up and power through and start to do that which you are meant to do as a gift to the world. So give it a try and see how it works for you. Yeah, maybe before we go off this live, then I'll just say, pick someone you know, and if you look straight on at them as a person and how life is, then you'll get a certain experience of them. And then if you raise your gaze and you look at the whole of them, the beauty of them, the magnificence of them, the potentiality of them, the awesomeness of them, then you get a whole different energetic vibe, right? Can you feel that as you're playing with that? And then if you go into the, ooh, the breathtaking possibility that they are, this is where they might be becoming something new and giving their superpowers into the world that they don't even know they have, and unleashing something new and possible for the world. And like, whoa, now you're dealing with a field that's got enormous movement, enormous power, enormous possibilities in it. And then when you're being there as a connection, it's joy-filled, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's high vibrational. It's quite incredible, actually, the difference. I hope you could sense that as you were working with it. So, okay, I will leave you with, take every opportunity you can to discover and experience and experiment with your own natural gifts and powers, which we will call superpowers, as a gift to the world. And when you do that, it just kind of effervescently flows out of you with a great grace and ease. So there you go. That's it for Ways to Unleash Your Superpowers. Hope you enjoyed it. It was great having you watch along and play along. So lots of love, and may your superpowers thrive in the world. Bye.